open on my screen. Ash, can you also send me like a cue on your screen? It just
This is an ode to Chadwick. This is an ode to Chadwick Boseman. This is an ode to Chadwick. This is an ode to Chadwick Boseman. This is an ode to Chadwick. This is an ode to Chadwick Boseman. This is an ode to Chadwick. This is an ode to Chadwick Boseman. Your legacy forever lives to save the world and guide the kids like a superhero. Chadwick Boseman, the real life superhero.
Chadwick Boseman, this is my tribute to you. Throughout your life, you let the light of God glisten through you. You are the pride and joy of South Carolina truth. And that commencement speech that she spoke at Howard U will be taught in school books for eternity. Unlocking mind, you are the turning key. Amongst the chemotherapies and the surgeries, you still became a universal legend. A supernova surgery energy you possessed to play Jackie Robinson, Thurgood Marshall, and James Brown. Brother, you was blessed and King T'Challa. Black Panther was our everything. It revolutionized with art and ways I've never seen. The icon who stacked zeros but stayed humble. Perfect role model, real life black superhero. I'm honored to have the same first name as you. Job well done, you completed what you came to do.
Legacy forever lives to save the world and guide the kids like a superhero. Chadwick Boseman, the real life superhero.
You paid homage to your predecessors in every interview. You made sure that people with special needs was tended to. Black male stereotype roles you didn't do. This was a man of pride, class, and principle. When Denzel paid the tuition for you to study at Oxford, you made it your mission to leave a cross-generational impact. The children love you. Disneyland even painted a mural of you. I learned from your quotes about life so profound. I hope they build a statue of you in your hometown. The modern-day Belafonte and Portier. I look into the skies for inspiration to point your way as I see your face in the clouds. The sun shines through. Thank you for making us proud. From the shores of Jamaica to the mountains of Rwanda, your legacy lives on forever like Wakanda.
Legacy forever lives to save the world and guide the kids like a superhero. Chadwick Boseman, the real life superhero. Legacy forever lives to save the world and guide the kids like a superhero. Chadwick Boseman, the real life superhero.
Chadwick Boseman, this is a brother who was chosen to be the light for every single sight to see. From the time of his birth to the time that he left this earth, each and every day he took advantage of his time. So now his spirit is gonna shine for each and every one of us to follow for a better tomorrow. You will educate us forever. We love you, Chadwick Boseman.
This is an ode to Chadwick. This is an ode to Chadwick Boseman. This is an ode to Chadwick. This is an ode to Chadwick.
This is my tribute to you. Throughout your life, you let the light of God glisten through you. You are the pride and joy of South Carolina truth. And that commencement speech that you spoke at Howard U will be taught in school books for eternity. Unlocking mind, you are the turning key. Amongst the chemotherapies and the surgeries, you still became a universal legend. A supernova surgery energy you possessed to play Jackie Robinson, Thurgood Marshall, and James Brown. Brother, you was blessed and King T'Challa. Black Panther was our everything. It revolutionized with art and ways I've never seen. The icon who stacked zeros but stayed humble. Perfect role model, real life black superhero. I'm honored to have the same first name as you. Job well done, you completed what you came to do.
Legacy forever lives to save the world and guide the kids like a superhero. Chadwick Boseman, the real life super.
You paid homage to your predecessors in every interview. You made sure that people with special needs was tended to. Black male stereotype roles you didn't do. This was a man of pride, class, and principle. When Denzel paid the tuition for you to study at Oxford, you made it your mission to leave a cross-generational impact. The children love you. Disneyland even painted a mural of you. I learned from your quotes about life so profound. I hope they build a statue of you in your hometown. The modern day Belafonte and Portier. I look into the skies for inspiration and point your way as I see your face in the clouds. The sun shines through. Thank you for making us proud. From the shores of Jamaica to the mountains of Rwanda, your legacy lives on forever like Wakanda.
Legacy forever lives to save the world and guide the kids like a superhero. Chadwick Boseman, the real life
Chadwick Boseman, this is a brother who was chosen to be the light for every single sight to see. From the time of his birth to the time that he left this earth, each and every day he took advantage of his time. So now his spirit is gonna shine for each and every one of us to follow for a better tomorrow. You will educate us forever. We love you, Chadwick Boseman.
Chadwick Boseman was born on November 29, 1977 in Anderson, South Carolina. He has two older brothers, Kevin Boseman and Derek Boseman. Growing up, he enjoyed sports, with one of his favorite sports being basketball. After graduating high school, he attended the historic black college, Howard University, where one of his professors was Felicia Rashad. He graduated with a bachelor's in fine arts. After graduating from Howard University, he took his talents to the Drama Academy in Oxford, England, where Denzel Washington helped pay the tuition. He won a reward in 2002 for his performance in Urban Transitions and Loose Blossoms, a play by Ron Milner. He didn't just have skills on stage, he had skills in writing as he wrote plays for the Hip Hop Music Festival. Building his name in Hollywood, he took to the world of television. Featuring in hit shows Law & Order, CSI New York, Third Watch, and appearing on All My Children, he also shined with a reoccurring role on the hit series Lincoln Heights. As his reputation grew, so did his movie roles. In 2013, Chadwick Boseman played the role of Jackie Robinson in 42. Jackie Robinson was a professional baseball player who became the first African American to play in Major League Baseball in the modern era. In 2014, Chadwick played James Brown in the movie Get On Up. James Brown was an American musician, singer, record producer, and dancer who became a major influence in funk and popular music in the 20th century and earned the nickname the Godfather of Soul. In 2017, Chadwick Boseman played Thurgood Marshall in Marshall. Thurgood Marshall was an American lawyer and civil rights activist who served as Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States from October 1967 until October 1991. Marshall was the court's first African American justice. In 2018, he played King T'Challa in Black Panther. Along with being the superhero, his prominence and dialogue in this classic movie showed the elegance and importance of ancient Africa while blazing a trail of inspiration for the future of African Americans. His final role he played before his passing was a trumpet player named Levy in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Ma Rainey was one of the early African American professional blues singers and one of the first generation of blues singers to record. We call her the Mother of the Blues. So on this day, we honor Chadwick Boseman for the contributions that he gave to the world through his gift. You see, when you look back at his career, he was educating the world on the greatness of Black culture with every role that he played. So Chadwick Boseman, you are greatness in Black history. Here are some words of inspiration from the man himself.
Purpose crosses disciplines. Purpose is an essential element of you. It is the reason you are on the planet at this particular time in history. Your very existence is wrapped up in the things you are here to fulfill. Whatever you choose for a career path, remember the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose.
Thank you so much for inspiring us with your gift, Chadwick. We appreciate you, we love you, and we miss you. But your legacy will live on forever and ever.
Hello, everybody. My name is Braylon Lane, and I am the chairman for the garage side of the Catalyst Music Youth Advisory Board Council. Today, I'm going to be hosting a panel with our wonderful panelists discussing the Ode to Chadwick Boseman. And we have our wonderful panelists here today. I'm going to ask you guys to each introduce yourself. So can we start with Chadwick?
Hello, everyone. My name is Chadwick Niles Phillips. I am a hip hop artist and entrepreneur who owns a company called The Avant-Garde that puts on curated concerts virtually and in person that features artists within the lanes of neo soul, hip hop, jazz, and so many other genres. And I teach a program called Hip Hop History and the Arts. It's an art and life curriculum. Art in the sense of you have youth who have endeavors within music and so many others, and life to where the youth are taught life skills to be great in life. So thank you for having me.
Awesome. Next up, we have Beth.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Beth Griffith-Manley. You can just call me Beth. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and I am the singer on the single that we released, the Ode to Chadwick Boseman. I'm happy to be here, singer, songwriter, and actress. Thank you.
Awesome. And then lastly, we have Nabate Isles.
Hello, good evening, everybody. My name is Nabate Isles, and I'm a trumpeter, composer, producer, educator, and also sports media host and producer as well. And I was blessed to work with Niles and Beth on this wonderful song that we put together that we crafted, dedicated to Chadwick Boseman. I produced the track as well as co-wrote the track as well, co-wrote and wrote the music as well, and the arrangement. So so happy to be here, and it's a blessing to be here and to talk about such a wonderful individual in Chadwick Boseman.
Amazing. Thank you, guys. Thank you to our wonderful, wonderful panelists. Everyone live out there, you can absolutely ask any questions that you would like for me to ask to our wonderful panelists today. We'll be accepting live questions all night. And then for our panelists, for your information, I'm just going to start off with a couple of questions pre-written from our Catalyst Music Council board. And anyone who wants to take the question can just take the question. So the first question would be, how did you collaborate with people out of state? And what was that like to collaborate with people out of state?
Okay, I guess I'll go.
Okay, yeah.
It's relatively easy actually, because of technology now. It's just a matter of the communication between the artists and what it is that they want. Niles and Nabate were able to explain to me what they wanted me to sing on the music. The track was already done. And they sent me an example, and it's just it was a matter of me just going into the studio and to record what they wanted. And it was a matter of just, us emailing back and forth, me sending them the ideas that they had, and me trying to make it come to life, what they asked. And I have a studio that I work out of here with my producer here. And so we were able to go in and work on it and send it back to them, and they could let me know what they liked, they didn't like. So it's very easy. A lot of recordings nowadays are done like that. You don't necessarily have to be with the other parties, because you can record. The technology, it's just a matter of pushing a button, emailing, and you have access to the equipment to record your vocals or your instrumentation, and you get it done. So it's very, very easy. And I'm grateful that they asked me to do it. Thank you. And I'm happy that they were happy with what I did. So thanks so much.
Amazing. Do our other panelists want to speak on the subject?
Yes. And Beth, it's a pleasure to have you on it with your texture, your vocal stylings, and your musicality and everything. It's beautiful. And I think it's great with modern technology, because especially during this pandemic, it's really tough to be able to get a lot of people in the recording studio, or to travel to work with people and things like that. So that's really the good thing about modern technology, being able to send those WAV files on and everything, and then make those tweaks or changes or whatever like that. So it's been good, and it's been a great thing with what's going on with Zoom, people recording their parts and then putting it all together via Zoom or via other software that deals with recording and editing everything together. So that's the good thing about modern technology for sure. But I hope that we can all be able to get together eventually and make music organically in the recording studio, everyone that's out there. So.
Yeah, for me, it's been a transition. I never had a studio within my place before. I would go to different studios to have my sessions, and it was always in the back of my mind to get a home studio. But then when the pandemic hit, that was one of the things that was a must, because if you go to studios now, you never know as far as the distance and all of that stuff. So I was like, let me get a studio. So I got an interface, I got a microphone, and I have Logic Pro X, and I'm able to connect with people like Nabate, who is in New York City, Beth Griffith-Manley, who's in Detroit, and the song literally sounds like we were all together in the studio. So the type of energy that we have, even outside of the music, played a factor in just the professionalism. Beth, when I wrote the chorus, I sent it to her, and she owned that chorus, And then when Nabate sent me the track, it set a perfect tone to write to. So it's just very amazing how we're all able to join in unison from different places within the nation to create this song to give an ode to Chadwick Boseman. So yeah, it's been a blast.
So we have a question in the chat from Karen Perkins. What do you all love most about Chadwick Boseman?
I'll start. Wow. I think his craft, his excellence, his diligence in developing his craft. He was a consummate professional and a consummate actor. Like, he can be able to do anything he wanted. He studied at Oxford, studied Shakespeare at Oxford, was able to write plays as well, all different types of genres of plays. His dialects were flawless. His technique overall was flawless. So that was what was great about him, because he wanted to represent himself at the highest light. And then what he did was able to mentor youth and mentor people and give inspiration to people, to let them know how they can get to where he got, what it took for him to get to a certain place, to get to that highest level of his craft. He shared it with others, and also him being such a humanitarian and giving back to the community all over where he was at. People of all different colors, different races, creeds, everything. He was about humanity in general. So I would say two words: excellence and humility was what he was all about.
And to follow up behind Nabate, the thing about Chadwick Boseman that really stood out to me is him understanding what his gift was for. Every single time that I saw him in an interview, he was very humble. He always paid homage to his predecessors. He was very, very just powerful, but in a calm way. And with that, it opened so many people up to him. And I have to shout out his brother, Pastor Derek Boseman. Me and Nabate was able to play the record for his brother. And so meeting his brother, we can see where that comes from because his brother has the same type of humility and coolness to him. So as much as Chadwick Boseman was an icon, he was very humble and just him being a giver. You know, he was in an interview about Black Panther and he spoke about two children that had an ailment, and he spoke about them for like 3 minutes. That just shows right there that he truly cared about people who are in need. And to me, that's the quintessential example of who you're supposed to be when you get that type of fame or that type of power or that type of just stature to where you're able to have that type of influence. So that's what stood out the most to me about Chadwick Boseman. And he's a role model of mine as well.
So I'll close out this answer first with the shallow answer. He was fine. So let me just say that. I love that about him. He was very, very handsome man. But what I enjoyed about him the most, I think, is that every movie he was in and every role that he played, you did not see him. You actually saw the character. And that's, you know, a testament to his skill, his acting skill, his training. He got lost in the role and you got lost in the character, and you would literally see him play 3, 4, 5 distinct characters, but you never looked at, oh, that's Chadwick. He turned into that character and you were able to get lost in whoever he was playing. And I think I love that the most, because there are some actors and actresses that every time you see them, you just see the actor or the actress, or they're typecast in a particular role, and you always expect to see them playing this particular role or being this particular person. With him, he could be cast in different roles, from Black Panther to what was it, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Like he became that character. He became Jackie Robinson. He became James Brown, and you thought you were looking at those people. And that's what I loved about it. It was no longer Chadwick. He just got lost in that. So, you know, a character like that, then they're easy on the eyes. It's good for all the girls. I'll say that much.
I will say that I really do agree with the point of the acting portion. It's really, really well done every time that he is in a role. So another question would be, what types of challenges did you face when you have, and when you are sending in tracks across the state to mix together and to make songs together or make songs with other people? What are some challenges about that?
Well, I could start it off. So when we made the record, me being in Minneapolis, Nabate being in New York City, him sending me the track, I heard it, and it's like you have a first step to where it's raw. It's not mixed, it's not mastered, so on and so forth, right? So we selected a couple of engineers, and then we narrowed it down to one engineer. So trying to listen to the tracks, you know, either over the phone or in a Zoom meeting when you're not inside of an actual studio, you know, you're not able to hear it in its full entirety. And even when I sent it to Beth, you know, it was certain things that she needed to hear it fully. So that's one of the challenges. But the thing that's great is when you're able to move through those challenges. You know, we had 2 engineers, and it narrowed down to an engineer named Casey Golden from Good Look Studio. Shout outs to Casey. And along with that, like the graphic art, you know, me and Nabate had like a big pool of graphic artists to choose from. So narrowing it down, some of them we knew, others we didn't, but it just came down to the best possible situation. So shout outs to Jeremy Eggert. He made the graphic art for the song Superhero Ode to Chadwick Boseman. So those are some of the challenges, but moving through them and getting to this point, this is what we envision. So.
Yeah, I would say a challenge definitely was, just going the back and forth communication and stuff, because we're not able to, we're in different cities, you know, so that was definitely a challenge for sure. And also as well, I think with the mixing process, that was tough because we would get to different versions, then have, you know, say like, okay, change this, oh, then change that, then change this, you know, it's so tough because as an artist, you know, when you hear certain dynamics or certain elements of a track or certain elements of a composition, it's like you're like, oh, okay, that bass could be up a little bit. Oh, okay. And then you hear it the next day, it's like, oh, it could be down a little bit. Right. So it's like you can never get that final choice, you know, and so you just gotta go with it, you know, and everything. And that's what we did. We went with, you know, with it. And then as you listen to the track later and later, you're like, okay, everything's right. You know what I mean? Like everything's right. So it's like kind of like trusting, you know, us trusting it, you know, the track itself and trusting it to be, because already we knew that it was something that it's going to be, it was going to like percolate into something that's really special, you know, and it was for Chadwick Boseman. So that was the key. So that, yeah, those are, it's challenging because like I said, not being in the same city, that's tough, you know, and not being able to sit down with the engineer. That's the thing. That's the beauty of making a record, sitting down in the same room with the engineer where you're right there, you know, so.
I agree. I do. I agree with that. It's music is subjective. Everybody hears something different. You know, like you said, the bass line. It may be too loud for somebody else. It may not be loud enough for the next person. It's subjective. So just getting it right and then trusting your gut and trusting your engineer to know what to do.
Yeah. And guess what? We all like we all schizophrenic. You know what I mean? Because
yeah, but musicians
we're
mostly. Musicians are never satisfied. We can redo something over and over and over and over and over.
Unique people. Yeah.
There comes a time where you have to say, you know what? Let me stop. I'm gonna go with this one.
That's right. That's right. As long as the preparation's there, you know, when
Correct.
it's there, then trust it. You know,
Correct.
because the work was put into it.
Correct.
So another question, what motivated you all to make a tribute to Chadwick Boseman? Despite his passing, what were some things that he did or may have done to motivate you guys to make this tribute song to Chad?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll lead off on that. Yeah, there's so many motivating factors. I mean, as mentioned, you know, about as we talked about his excellence in his craft, his the emotion, the depth of all of his roles, you know, how he really immersed himself in his roles and everything. And also, once again, the humanitarian that he was and helping people. And that was important to give back because a lot of people gave to him. So he felt it's necessary to do the same. And that's what we all have to do, especially as artists, because we all have mentors. We all have people that believe in us, you know, so, and we have to do the same to pay forward and be able to help people as well through musically, as well as human beings too. So that's what made him special. And also like it's a beautiful connection that my cousin who's like basically my mom's age, you know, like knew Chadwick when he was a boy, you know, so and he looked up to her and it was so beautiful to meet him that one time at the Blue Note, which was such an honor. He's a big music guy too. That's another thing. He played percussion, he played guitar, big music guy, really knows his music and can play too. So talking with him, and I mentioned my cousin's name, his reaction was just so wonderful, just like, whoa, like he was like a kid in the candy store almost, you know, like it was like, wow, it was great to see that because he's such a, you know, Hollywood star and he acts like a regular human being, you know, and that's what it's all about, being a human being and being able to communicate with anyone at any time and being able to spread joy to anyone at any time. So there's so many factors. What a tremendous individual he was.
Yes, and the story behind this record being created is, first of all, my name is Chadwick. That is my first name. It's not a lot of people who I've come across with that name. So when I first saw his name on the scene, it automatically struck my interest, as far as being a fan of his. And then seeing what he was about, and with this being Black History Month, looking at everybody he played, Jackie Robinson, Thurgood Marshall, so many different, and then in Black Panther, it was more than a movie. It was about our culture, it was about our history, it was about our future. So he was very calculated in the roles that he played in educating the world on the positive and amazing, powerful contributions of African Americans. So when he passed away, it hit me, So I created a verse, which is actually the first verse on the record of Superhero Ode to Chadwick Boseman. And I just rapped it, I spit it online. It got really, really good reviews. And me and Nabate go way back, to like 2006 to 2009 when I lived in New York City. We used to gig together and all that, part of the same band. I was the rapper and he was playing the trumpet. It was beautiful, And so we've always just been cool. And so when I released it, to be honest, I didn't think of it becoming a song. I just put it out there to show love for Chadwick. And then I had no clue that Nabate met Chadwick Boseman. I had no idea. And plus, along with that, I have family who went to church with Chadwick Boseman for like 6 years in New York City, Lebanon Baptist Church in Brooklyn. When he passed away, they put out pictures of him. And a cousin of mine stayed with Chadwick Boseman when he first moved to New York City before he got married, So it's been something tremendous to be able to create this song. So when Nabate contacted me about collabing, I was like, most definitely. So it turned into a song. And then Beth, I hosted her release party for a music video she had called You Already Won. And I'm from Lansing, Michigan. She's from Motown. She's the daughter of Johnny Griffith from the Funk Brothers. And I've always known about her. So after hosting that show, I kept a good connection with her. And I was like, Beth is gonna do this song some justice. Y'all need to see her on The Voice when she sang that Aretha Franklin song. I want you to tell them more about that. But so we all collaborated and it turned out beautiful. And here we are.
I'm going to go with that story because I just got a phone call and I was asked to sing and I said, okay. So, they came up with, Nabate and Niles came up with the story and the vision for it. I was just brought in and I'm happy that I was able to be invited to be on this project. So, yeah.
You did amazing, Beth.
Thank you. It was fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Another question from our live chat would be, how do you feel that this tribute has allowed you to grow as an artist? And this is directed to all of the panelists.
Want to start, Beth?
Oh, okay. Well, I look at every opportunity that I have, every time I get a chance to sing, every time I'm given the mic to sing, no matter what it is. It's an opportunity for me to grow. It's an opportunity for me to learn. It's an opportunity for me to stretch. It's an opportunity for me to develop more. It's an opportunity for me to do something that I have not done before. And everything that I do is for the development and the growth and the expansion of Beth and what she does. So because I was already a fan of Chadwick, because I'm a lover of music, because I'm a singer, this is what I do all the time. And because I appreciate every invitation that I have to lend my gift, it helped me grow. This is something that's a recording. This is going to be forever. This is timeless. So whenever you're able to lay your gift or your talents to something that will not go away, that will not die, music doesn't die. So whenever you're able to allow or to lend your gifts or your talents to something like that, it's an expansion, it's a gift, it's growth. So that has developed me more. And I was able to pay homage to an African-American thespian actor who will go down in history. So with that, I mean, what else can I say? That was incredible. So thank you.
Yes. And The song, everyone, y'all could buy right now. The link is right in the chat, Superhero Ode to Chadwick Boseman. So please buy that song, and portions of the proceeds will go to the Chadwick Boseman Charitable Fund for the Arts. I've grown in many ways with this experience. Working with the Grammy Award-winning trumpeter, Nabate Isles, who got his Grammy with Christian McBride. He's worked with Jill Scott. He's worked with Mos Def. He's worked with Fantasia. And working with Beth Griffith-Manley, she's like Detroit R&B royalty. That's what I always say when I describe her. I mean, Motown, she's a daughter of that scene, and background singer for Aretha Franklin. Kim, she was a stunt double for Whitney Houston on the movie Sparkle. This is like a high level of prestige. So to just step into the room with these two, it's like it ups your game, you know. Working closely with Nabate has grown me in a lot of different ways, you know, as far as teamwork, as far as compromise, as far as parts of the music business that I've elevated, as far as my education in that. And we did it, we got lawyers, we did it like the right way. And to everybody in the music business or who's trying, when you're working with people, it's good to always, I say, pay attention to the engine, you know? The way the car looks is one thing, it could be shiny, but when you do like that hard work behind the scenes, you get successful outcomes like what we have with the song right here. So working with two people on a very high level in the music industry has just upped me in a lot of different ways. And I could use what I learned from this to work on whatever I'm working on next. So, yeah.
And to piggyback on what Niles said, yeah, it's all about, you know, when you partner with someone, it's about, you know, like being that engine, being that, you know, like having like kind of like the yin and the yang, you know, the when someone says a sentence, starts a sentence, you finish the sentence, back and forth like that, having that connection is, and not just musically, especially when we independently release a track. So that's the great thing. We've been able to build that synergy. But what I've learned individually with this was just overall, like my production and everything, just learning more about that, getting also like being able to get better technically with my production and everything like that. And also the great thing, like I learned more to do more horn stuff as well with my production and everything. I don't do enough horn things, like enough trumpet stuff on my production. So I want to do more of that for sure. But yeah, just learning, just more about the technical aspect of production and also just like really growing overall when you, especially, you know, releasing a song too independently, because that's everyone's doing that now, you know. So it's like it's all about trying to distinguish yourself and be different from the rest.
Awesome. Another question would be, what is something major that you've learned from this process? All three of you being like legends. What is something? Thank you, brother. But
Yeah, but no.
I appreciate you for that.
But that sounded boom, didn't it?
Thank you, though. Thank you. The checks in the mail. Checks in the mail, Braylon. Checks in the mail.
To me, all three of you being legends in my book, and having so much experience in this industry. And Beth, in the recorded film industry and the music industry, you all have so much experience and knowledge under your belt. So what is something that you might have learned with all the knowledge that you already have? What's something you learned from this process?
I'll answer that, to be honest, and I don't mean this in a negative way. This was a recording. This is what I do. So there was nothing that I actually learned except for learning this song so that I could deliver what they needed me to deliver. I mean, this is what we do. So this particular project was not a project that was taking me out of my element or my comfort zone. This is a project that I was comfortable doing because it's what I do. And I'm glad that they identified that and felt comfortable with me doing it. So, you know, it's like if you were to ask me to do something that I don't do, it would be something that I would have learned. But singing, I'm in the studio almost every day. And if not a couple days a week, not unless we decide, we're not going to work. And I'm constantly recording. So for me to do this was something that flowed right into what I do. I record. I'm always recording something.
Awesome. Other panelists, do you agree? Or
Yeah, no, I mean, once again, going back to just learning, like I said, learning, more about production, because as a composer, I compose with live instruments mostly, like being able to write with live instruments and be able to, orchestration, like strings and woodwinds and brass and everything like that. So I do that. But with production, it's really it's a different thing, because it's not just about the musical elements, it's about the sonic elements as well. It's about making certain sounds that are able to really be that earworm for people, and that's key. So doing this track, like, it instantly came to me. So when it came to me, the ideas of the piano riff and the bass line, the funky bass line, also the percussion, African percussion, which related to Black Panther, but also related to Chadwick also playing djembe and everything himself, I had to really be able to, okay, I have those elements, but it's the little elements, and that's the thing about production. So it was really good for me to learn about that technically. And also you have to be a method producer, like a method actor, like you have to be really deep in it from the standpoint of being in that vibe, like you are a listener, like you are like a fan of what you're doing for that particular time, like a certain fan of a certain genre, things like that. It's really deep. Yeah, once again, going with the schizophrenic thing, we all have different characters and different methods to our madness. So
one thing I've learned is trusting my instincts as a writer beyond a hip hop artist. I'm a hip hop artist. I rap, but I sing as well. But that's something that I didn't put to the forefront, and people would tell me, like, bro, you should sing more. And I'm like the biggest neo soul head, like R&B head, like ever known to man. So when I wrote the chorus, I was going through different types of melodies, harmonies, lyrics. And it was like, okay, use that? Nah, it's just you keep going through these different thoughts because you want it to be so great. And then when you're giving it to a person like Beth Griffith-Manley, it's like that just adds even more heat. You know what I'm saying? You get cooked even more. It's like, oh my goodness, right? So, and songwriting for singers is something that I'm stepping into. So to write that, to give it to Beth, who is one of my favorite singers, and for her to do what she did, that gave me the confidence that I could be able to really do this. You know what I'm saying? Because she did her thing. So yeah, I look forward to writing for singers more. Yep.
Awesome. Well, you did a fantastic job with this song. You can write for me now.
I'll be the ghostwriter, Braylon. Y'all should see Braylon perform. He's cold. He's dope.
Thank you. I don't know about all that, but a question that we had in the chat, and you know what, with another person, Karen Perkins, saying that Chadwick Boseman, every role that he plays, he gives it his all. And so I think that's what we kind of all were talking about at the beginning of our little webinar here. But with Chadwick Boseman putting his all into every character that he does, what is your personal favorite role or movie that Chad was in or played, or favorite role of his?
Wow, this is gonna be 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E, all his roles, Okay, I'm gonna mention two roles. His last role, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom Stomp, because Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, excuse me, but Black Bottom Stomp is like, that's but he, to be able to deliver those words of August Wilson, that was made for him right there. August Wilson is the quintessential playwright, American playwright. Now, I'm not going to say black playwright, American playwright. And for him to act in that, and I know Chadwick got into his August Wilson when he was studying with Felicia Rashad at Howard University. You know that, so, and that role was like completely for him. And also too, he knew he was dying too. He knew it. And you can see that like he knew this was possibly going to be his last role, and he really gave it his all, his passion, everything he gave into it. So Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, amazing film too. And he played a trumpet player, which is really surreal too. His last role, he's playing a cornetist, which is a variation of trumpet, but it's deep. And then this role, which is interesting, his first major role, The Express. That film, that starred Rob Brown, who's a good friend of mine. Shout out to Rob Brown. That's a good brother. I taught him trumpet for Treme, for the show Treme. He played a trumpet player on that show. And what's deep about that role, Chadwick played Floyd Little, because Rob played Ernie Davis, the great first Black Heisman winner for Syracuse University. And Floyd Little was the next man up. So it was like Jim Brown, then Ernie Davis, then Floyd Little. So Chadwick played Floyd Little, and you can see in those couple of scenes that you can see the glow. You can see the glow. You can see the energy. You can see the technique. You can see just it. And I mean, it wasn't a surprise and I forgot that Chadwick was in The Express. That's what's really deep about that. I didn't know that until right after he died. He passed away actually. So yeah, I would say those are the two roles that come up, but all of his roles have so much significance for sure.
I think my favorite role definitely is the James Brown. That's my favorite because of the music. I can't help that one. I love that. My husband's favorite is the Jackie Robinson, because my husband is an avid collector of Negro League memorabilia. So that's his thing.
What? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was like, oh, wow.
You guys
got a lot to talk about with him, for sure.
You have no idea. Like, the Negro League memorabilia, that's his thing. So he loved that. But I also enjoyed him on 21 Bridges, too. That was really good. That was different. That was an action. That was a cop movie. And it was very, it wasn't, almost, it allowed him to just play, and for lack of a better word, a typical cop movie. It was almost like it was relaxing for him to do that, because he was able to just play a cop as opposed to playing James Brown, where you had to get James Brown right, or you had to get Jackie Robinson right. He was able to just be this guy, and I liked seeing him in that role, because that was typical, because he has played several biopics, so you always see him being someone else. And he was just this nondescript guy in that, and I enjoyed just getting lost in the storyline for that.
And one quick thing I wanted to say before Chad answers, it was really deep about 21 Bridges, was that Sienna Miller, his co-star in the film, he gave up some of his salary to make sure that she was paid equally as he was, like things like that. As we were talking about, you hear so many different colleagues of his talk about his generosity, and that's one example of that. It's really deep.
Yes. And that right there just even deepened the respect that I have for Chadwick Boseman, just the humility. I would have to go with King T'Challa in Black Panther. I remember when just the word about Black Panther started hitting the scene, it just started to spread. People started talking about it, and people just started to get excited about this narrative of an all-Black cast, with Ryan Coogler being the director, and it was just something new, and people started to dress in African garb, going to these movies. When you went to the movies, everybody was dressed like they was in Wakanda, and to see little Black kids looking up to this superhero, feeling that they could become that was amazing, because we don't see a lot of Black superheroes within movies or just in general. So it was very, very revolutionary. And the message behind the movie is timeless. I mean, for it to be about our history as Black people, but our future, and the fact that even though at the end, when it was him and Killmonger, as much as they were enemies, he showed that they were still brothers, you know? And then if you go to after the end of the movie, after all the credits play, there's a final scene that has nothing to do with the movie. It's Chadwick Boseman speaking in front of people from all different cultures,
Right.
walks of life, and he spoke about how we need to come together, how we need to unify, how humanity is all about all of us being as one. And I truly feel like beyond the movie, that's what he wanted to portray. As much as the movie was incredible, that message, if y'all go back to that message at the end of the movie, to me, that is something that'll just educate the world forever on who we truly are supposed to be as human beings. And so, yeah, I definitely have to say King T'Challa and Black Panther.
Awesome. I think we are getting to the end here, so we only have time for about 3 more questions. The next question comes from the chat. Anna Schaefer asked, what was the most memorable part of the whole song-making process for you all? More specifically, were there any moments in the process or the response to it that really stood out to you as far as with Chadwick Boseman?
How it came all together. Like how everything that because I think the song developed early. It's kind of like a prodigy, a child prodigy, you know, and how that child prodigy didn't fizzle out. That child prodigy became a legend. I think with the song, it was the raw elements were really, it spoke. All the elements spoke. And then when it fully developed with Beth and Niles and like Casey and what he did with the engineering process, the mixing process, mastering, everything really just flourished. So it's kind of like I said, like a child prodigy becoming a legend, not fizzling out.
I'll say for me, making the song with Nabate and making it with Beth, because I used to live in New York City and I moved to Minneapolis. And I got to just watch Nabate flourish and blow up and win Grammys. And it was just like, I was so proud of him, you know, because, you know, we used to gig together. So to be on a track with Nabate, that means a lot. That means a lot. And then Beth became family, my brother. And then Beth became family within the snap of a finger. I mean, like, I'm a Detroit. What's up, Detroit? The 313. Like, we talking like Dwele. Jay Dilla's my favorite producer, artist ever.
Yeah.
Slum
Forget
Billy.
248. Forget that. 313 is where it's at. You know what I'm saying?
248, Michigan people all together. You know what I'm saying? The 989, that's Saginaw, and of course the 517, Michigan. But yeah, just rocking with Beth, you know, because I mean, look up, just put in Beth Griffith-Manley in Google and you'll see what I'm talking about. So the most memorable thing was rocking with both of these legends on a track, for real.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. I think we have time for one final question. And this question, we had probably 20 more questions, but we have time for one more. I tried to choose carefully, so people are gonna get mad. No, I'm playing. People are not gonna get mad. So the final question for today is going to be, what advice would you give young people involved with music? And more elaborately, what advice would you give them, the recording process, the mixing process, or just the inspiration process as young people going forward in the industry? Once again, coming from the legends you all are, what's a big piece of advice you would give them?
I'll just be brief. Remain yourself. My mother, Loretta Sue Phillips, God rest her soul, it's a letter that she wrote me, and it's a simple quote: never change who you really are. You know, never compromise who you are with the art that you create. Because like with what Chadwick Boseman did, he never compromised himself. And as a result, his legacy will live forever. So be yourself, remain yourself, and let the chips fall where they may.
I agree with that. And I would also say, too, be consistent with your strive for excellence. Make sure that if there's something that you want to know, you go seek out that information and surround yourself with people that can teach you. Surround yourself with people that are moving forward. If there's a skill that you need, practice, learn, study, and learn as much as you can about the business, whether it be behind the scenes or in front, because there are challenges and a lot of things to learn behind the scenes, which would include writing songs and the proper way to write a song and to structure and to produce and to engineer. And then there's a whole nother art to being a performer and an artist. It's not as simple as people think, just grabbing the mic and being on stage and entertaining an audience. That's a skill. That is something that you have to be taught, you have to learn, and you can naturally have that ability, but it needs to be cultivated. It's a lot to that. And I think the final thing, and I was just talking with somebody about this today, as you grow and as you go up the ladder of success, never forget those people that helped you in the very beginning. And because you start to grow and new opportunities come your way, don't get so bright-eyed and excited that you forget those people that rocked with you when you didn't have anything. And always lend a hand back and pull somebody with you. A lot of times that happens, opportunities come to artists and they forget about the people that were with them when they had nothing. And then somebody offers them something and they go running over here and because that looks bright and shiny. And then they run over here and that looks bright and shiny. And you need to always get a good core group of people that support you and rock with you, get a good team, and you all grow together, because once you get a solid foundation, it's unbreakable and you all can move. But if you start putting, going over here and going over here, and you don't have the stability. So I would say practice, learn as much as you can, and remember the people that were with you when you had nothing.
And to piggyback on what Beth said, yes, like have the people around you that are going to be honest with you and real with you, and no yes people, like have people that are going to that you've known for a long time that are growing with you as well, and have their own unique abilities. They may not be artists themselves, but they can give you business advice. They can give you all types of advice on how you conduct yourself, publicly, things like that. So you need to have no yes people around you. Like Beth said, the people that have come up with you. And another thing that's so important for young artists is history. Please listen. Don't just listen to what's going on in top 40 right now, and I'm not bashing the music that's going on. Not at all. I'm just saying, to be a complete artist and a complete musician, because you don't want to just be an artist. You want to be a musician. You should be listening to the James Browns, the Ma Rainey's, Chadwick Boseman played those, listen to Herbie Hancock, listen to Lester Young, listen to Mahalia Jackson, listen to Fela Kuti. You need to go into all types of music, because you never know what can influence you as an artist and as a composer / producer. So know your history and everything, because it's important, because all the artists we admire, they listen to somebody and then they listen to somebody. It's a lineage. You got to learn that lineage in all different types of music. Eclecticism is important.
Awesome. Well, thank you to our three panelists so much. Thank you for taking out your time out of your busy day to come and answer questions and be a part of our little family at Catalyst Music, Minnesota, or more specifically, The Garage. Thank you so much for your time. For everyone out there watching, thank you so much for coming to watch the Q&A with our wonderful panelists, Chadwick, Phillips, Beth, and Nabate Isles. We had a blast coming to do this panel for you all, and we can go to commercial now.
Chadwick Boseman, this is my tribute to you. Throughout your life, you let the light of God glisten through you. You are the pride and joy of South Carolina truth. And that commencement speech that she spoke at Howard U will be taught in school books for eternity. Unlocking minds, you are the turning key. Amongst the chemotherapies and the surgeries, you still became a universal legend. A supernova surgery energy you possessed to play Jackie Robinson, Thurgood Marshall, and James Brown. Brother, you was blessed, and King T'Challa. Black Panther was our everything. It revolutionized with art and ways I've never seen. The icon who stacked zeros but stayed humble. Perfect role model, real life black superhero. I'm honored to have the same first name as you. Job well done, you completed what you came to do.
Legacy forever lives.
is my tribute to you. Throughout your life, you let the light of God glisten through you. You are the pride and joy of South Carolina truth. And that commencement speech that you spoke at Howard U will be taught in school books for eternity. Unlocking minds, you are the turning key. Amongst the chemotherapies and the surgeries, you still became a universal legend. A supernova surgery energy you possessed to play Jackie Robinson, Thurgood Marshall, and James Brown. Brother, you was blessed and King T'Challa. Black Panther was our everything. It revolutionized with art and ways I've never seen. The icon who stacked zeros but stayed humble. Perfect role model, real life black superhero. I'm honored to have the same first name as you. Job well done, you completed what you came to do.
Legacy forever lives to save the world and guide the kids like a superhero. Chadwick Boseman, the real life super.
You paid homage to your predecessors in every interview. You made sure that people with special needs was tended to. Black male stereotype roles you didn't do. This was a man, the pride, class, and principle. When Denzel paid the tuition for you to study at Oxford, you made it your mission to leave a cross-generational impact. The children love you. Disneyland even painted a mural of you. I learned from your quotes about life so profound. I hope they build a statue of you in your hometown. The modern-day Belafonte and Portier. I look into the skies for inspiration to point your way. As I see your face in the clouds, the sun shines through. Thank you for making us proud. From the shores of Jamaica to the mountains of Rwanda, your legacy lives on forever like Wakanda.
Legacy forever lives to save the world and guide the kids like a superhero. Chadwick Boseman, the real life
Chadwick Boseman. This is a brother who was chosen to be the light for every single sight to see. From the time of his birth to the time that he left this earth, each and every day he took advantage of his time. So now his spirit is gonna shine for each and every one of us to follow for a better tomorrow. You will educate us forever. We love you, Chadwick.